Hey everybody, welcome to WhyBuy. Let's talk about the Fender Deluxe Stratocaster. Looking to buy a Stratocaster. It was right around the time when I bought a Princeton Reverb tube amp and a Telecaster. So this paint configuration, this kind of red apple with the gold yellow burst, just caught my eye just looking at it online. I'm like, man, I bet you in person, like that's gonna look beautiful. And if I'm gonna buy a Strat, that's gonna be the one. Problem was that they're sold out everywhere. It was really hard to get your hands on one. And on a whim, called a buddy up. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to Future Shop and I'm gonna look around the store and see if maybe they have one in inventory. Online it says they don't, but I'm just gonna go to the store anyways and see, what the heck. So I get to the store and I asked the clerk, I'm like, do you have any, Strat Deluxes in stock? And he's like, yeah, we have this one. And he pulls it out and it was that gray paint design. It almost had like a fleck, like a paint. It was like a graphite almost, beautiful paint color, but it wasn't what I wanted. And I'm like, oh man, I'm looking for this like red with a yellow kind of gold burst. I think it's going to be a really good looking guitar. Is there any chance you guys have one in stock? And he's like, well, about that. One of the employees here, a manager, put it on hold and he was going to buy it tomorrow when he comes into work. And I said, okay. So you have one in stock. He's like, well, technically we're supposed to sell it to, a customer before an employee can buy it. So hold on. He kind of goes over his shoulder and covered in posters and all this other crap, kind of hiding, pulls out this case, cracks it open, and then boom, that's the one. And yeah, I was like, I'll take it. Feeling like I got away with robbery. I ran into the car. I'm like, let's go, man. I'm so stoked. And like, talk about getting deflated. On our drive back, car gets a flat tire. We have to pull off, fill it with air. And like, I don't know, I was just on cloud nine. But yeah, finally got it back, plugged it in, and could probably look up online, or like the dictionary guitar. This would probably be the body design that's used as a reference because it's such a long-standing and popular design that really it is a staple in just music in general. Like you'll see Strats everywhere. And the reason I think mainly for that is when you play it and you feel kind of how it connects to your body. It's very low profile, it's very contoured, all the edges, it's very comfortable to play. Like and it's comfortable to play fast. I think that's the biggest differentiation I found with the Telecaster. The Telecaster, I feel like I have to like really work at that guitar, but I like that, I love that. So the Stratocaster, on the other hand, you have, for your soloing, your rock, your chords, it's a much easier guitar to play. And I think that's why more people gravitate towards it. It's more comfortable, it's easier, you don't have to work at it as hard. One thing to point out is these N3 pickups. and they're noiseless pickups essentially. So what is the benefit of that? Well, let's say, for example, you're recording, some songs and the mics are set up, or, that feedback or that hum or whatever the pickups are. Heck, it could even be a cell phone that's sitting on the table and it's picking that up. So these are noiseless. So that means when you're not playing and they're not in use, it goes quiet, dead. It's, I think especially if you're performing on stage or if you're doing gigs, must have, because you don't want feedback or anything pumping through the amps and distracting people. It's nice to be able to comfortably relax, knowing that if you're at rest, the pickups aren't active. So another thing that I think is distinctly unique about Strats is the 5-way switch. So whereas the Telecaster only has a 3-way switch, essentially what you're doing is you're activating different pickups and you're trying to get a different tone out of the guitar. On the Deluxe is that you have what they call an S1 switch. So right here on the volume knob, clicking that in and out, what you're actually doing is you're activating different tones by reconfiguring the pickups. If there's anything that I notice, it's like it's super intuitive as soon as you start to play it. Another thing too is the whammy bar. What's nice about the Deluxe is that it's really a push in, click, and that's it. Versus the standard, you're threading it in, screwing it in. But again, I never use this. So this guitar is very much a stage guitar. It's a performer. And I mean, really, if you're to look at from the perspective of versatility and having even only one guitar, it makes the most sense to have what would have all the features you could ever possibly need. So another thing that's kind of cool is the fact that the tuning heads are lockable. So getting the Deluxe, even if you don't perform on stage, I don't, you're still gonna wanna have the noiseless pickups, which are awesome. You're gonna wanna have the locking machine heads, and having that S1 switch and the versatility in the pickups, I think is, it's just worth it to invest in now. And I know how tough or frustrating it can be if you're on a budget, not to be able to spring for the Deluxe, but if you can find a way, do it, because if ever down the road you want to trade it or sell it, I think the market, there's a greater demand for the Deluxe, especially if you can get this, paint configuration, which, by the way, let's talk about the paint. So this is what they call an FSR, or a Fender Special Run. I think the paint they call this is a sunset metallic, and I don't know if the camera does it justice or not, but it is beautiful. I mean, when the light is just bending around the body of the guitar, or hell, if it's pitch black, this thing has a beautiful silhouette. I mean, and when the sun hits it, you can see kind of the little specks in the paint, and it's a really cool color. I think over time it'll probably appreciate just simply because it was rare, and it's probably one of the best colors they've ever done. Depending on what you buy, it doesn't really matter. The whole point of it is to be creative and learn how to express through the guitar. And I've had a variety of guitars that are very entry level and stuff that's higher end, and it doesn't really, I mean, it's whatever gives you that incentive or inspiration to say, okay, I'm gonna write something, or I'm gonna learn something new. That's really the guiding force that I use to buy a guitar. It's like, okay, well, this is gonna make me motivated to wanna do this, write this, or try this. And that's the whole point of being creative. That's, why you're buying a guitar. So don't let stereotypes and what other people say that you should do, get what you want. And if you're thinking about a Fender, and if you're thinking about a Strat, go for the Deluxe, go for the one you want, try and get the color scheme you want, spend the time. It's such a personal thing. You're living with it. It's your money. So, hunt, find it, and get what you want. If you thought this video was helpful, please like and subscribe, show your support, and thanks for watching.